My parents didn't even notice I moved out. Now dad threatening to cut college funds. But I graduated 3 years ago. My parents were always busy. Dad worked in sales and traveled constantly. Mom ran her own real estate business and showed houses 7 days a week. Growing up, I raised myself basically. Made my own meals, did my own laundry, signed my own permission slips in middle school. They paid the bills and kept food in the house, but that was about it. When I started college at 18, nothing changed. I lived at home to save money, but they barely noticed I was there. I'd go days without seeing either of them. Dad would leave notes on the counter about when he'd be back from business trips. Mom would text me about showings that ran late. We were like roommates who never actually ran into each other. Junior year, I got a job as a server at this restaurant downtown. Started working 30 hours a week on top of my classes. Saved up enough for a deposit on a tiny studio apartment across town. One weekend in March, I packed up all my stuff while they were both gone. Moved my clothes, my books, my desk, everything. Left my key on the kitchen counter with a note that said, "Moved out, here's my new address, love you." I waited for a call or text. Nothing. A week went by, then 2 weeks, then a whole month. I kept checking my phone thinking maybe I'd missed something, but nope. Radio silence. They didn't ask where I was, didn't come looking, didn't even acknowledge the note. It hurt at first, but then I just accepted it. This was who they were. I graduated that May with my bachelor's degree in accounting. Invited them to the ceremony through email and text. Mom replied with a thumbs up emoji. Dad didn't respond at all. Neither of them showed up. I walked across that stage, got my diploma, and celebrated with my coworkers from the restaurant who actually cared enough to come. Got my first real job 3 months later at a firm downtown, started paying off my student loans, moved into a bigger apartment, built an actual life for myself. My parents had no idea about any of it because they never asked. I'd see Mom's Facebook posts, sometimes showing off fancy houses she sold. Dad would occasionally post photos from airports with captions about the grind. They looked happy in their own little world. Last month, 3 full years after I graduated, I got a call from Dad out of nowhere. I almost didn't answer because I didn't recognize the vibe. "Hey, sweetie," he said, all cheerful. "Your mom and I were talking and we're concerned about your grades. How's school going? You getting good marks?" I was so confused. "Dad, what are you talking about?" He launched into this whole speech about how I needed to focus on my studies and stop partying so much. Said he'd seen on Find My Friends that I wasn't at the house very often. Apparently they'd been tracking my location this whole time but never actually checked where I was. Then he dropped the bomb. "If your grades don't improve this semester, we're cutting off your college fund. We're not paying for you to waste our money." I actually laughed. "Dad, I don't have a college fund. I paid for school myself with loans and work." He got quiet. "What do you mean? I moved out 3 years ago. Remember the note I left? I graduated in 2022. I've been working as an accountant for 3 years now." More silence. Then I heard him yell for Mom. She got on the phone and tried to act like they totally knew all this. "Of course we knew, honey. We're so proud. When did you move again?" Her voice was shaking. I could tell she was panicking. I told them the address I'd left in the note, the apartment I'd lived in for 3 years. Mom claimed they'd been there to visit, but I was never home. Complete lie. The landlord would have told me if anyone came by asking for me. That's when I'd had enough. "You didn't notice I moved out for 3 years. You missed my graduation. You have no idea what I do for work, where I live, or what my life looks like. And now you're threatening to cut college funds that don't exist for a degree I already have. Do you hear how insane that sounds?" Dad got defensive. "We've been busy building our careers to give you a good life. We provided for you." I laughed again. "You provided a house and food. That's not the same as being parents. You know what? Don't worry about calling anymore. I'm doing just fine without you." I hung up and blocked both their numbers. My coworker Amy, who's basically become my chosen family, asked if I was okay. I realized I actually was. I'd spent 3 years building a life they knew nothing about, and I was proud of it. They can keep their money and their excuses. I don't need either one anymore.